Hello everybody, welcome to Lake Placid in the Adirondack Mountains. We're in upstate New York at a two-time Winter Olympic venue. It's the opening race weekend of the Viessmann FIBT World Cup, and we're here for the second and deciding run of the women's skeleton competition. I'm Martin Haven, and I'm delighted to have alongside me US Olympic slider Bree Schaff. After the first heat, Bree, we got a great race on our hands.
Oh yeah, Janina Block, she came out on fire. She had a great season last year, but did not have the Olympic finish that she had hoped for. Came out in Lake Placid today to make a statement.
She is third place, and in front of her, two Elizabeths. Rookie Elizabeth Vache, tight and nervous before the first run. Her first in World Cup. She was first off the hill, but she led until the Olympic champion eased in front. It's Lizzie Arnold that leads after heat 1 of 2.
Lizzie was true to form. She's had a blast this offseason on the Glory Tour and is as relaxed as ever to come in here and take over this World Cup Tour.
Just 10 days ago, she met Her Majesty the Queen to receive her MBE, the award for services to sport that she got for her Olympic gold medal. And she had a little trouble getting off the sled. She didn't have any trouble when she was on it, though.
True to Lizzie form, so relaxed, flowing through the chicane. Nailed it.
Well, we got a great battle on our hands. The Olympic champion, the standout athlete of the last season, against a brand new rookie. Could be very entertaining at the end of this second and deciding heat. Well, here is our start list. After the first heat, Lizzie Arnold leading by 0.3 of a second. Look how close it is behind, though. Just a few hundreds between Elizabeth Vache, Janine Flock, Tina Herman, Rose McGrandle, and the rest of them. There'll be lots of zigging and zagging up and down the order. A good second heat can change your world around if you've had a disappointing first one. But consistency is so hard, Bree Schaff, to find. You could slip down the order just as easily.
Oh yeah, and the better sports psych position to be in is the hungry person that might have messed up their first run, and then at that point, they just want to get after it, get after the second run, and take some people down.
So the first 20 of any World Cup field go in reverse order into the second heat. So we will see the last athletes being the fastest, battling for gold. Ice temperature's been very consistent all day, -5.5. Huge shout out to the staff here for keeping the track in A1 condition through what's been a very snowy week. As you can see from the winter wonderland scenes around us, this is frozen comes to sports. Anastasia Novikova of Russia will be the first of 20 athletes who come down the hill. And Maddie Charney, one of, I guess, about half the field of rookies in this World Cup encounter. So Novikova at the top of the track, getting ready to make her second World Cup start. And that little line of tape there just at the bottom of the visor to remind her to keep her head down.
Right, the natural instinct, and I had the opportunity to coach in FIBT school with Lincoln DeWitt a few weeks ago, and the thing you see a lot with new sliders is really wanting to peek up and see where you're going. But when you have just 2 meters, really that's as far as you can see when your face is on the ice. You can only see about 2 meters in front of you.
5:54 start, 5:55 in the first heat for Novikova.
This Russian B squad, per se, really looking to come in here and make a statement and try and stick around when the A-team takes over for the European portion of the tour.
Well, it is full of rookies, and a great chance as well to bring the rookies to North America. They won't know. Wild ride from Novikova.
Oh, high on the end of 12 there. This is the action portion of the start list.
Well, she can't drop out of the top 20. Doesn't make the hits any more comfortable, mind you.
No, she's got the insurance of a top 20 finish, but that was a rough ride with a 58.08 downtime.
Well, she did a 57.5 second run in her first heat, 58 seconds in her second. A little wilder, perhaps trying to correct some of the errors, led to different ones.
You want to let it ride, but that was a bit loose. That is a big leg coming out, trying to stabilize and just get things back under control. And pointed down and sideways coming out into 12. No pressure whatsoever, just floating up and away, and then landing on the wall.
We can read her body language. Her face looks very disappointed with that. Maddie Charney, another rookie from the Canadian team. First ever World Cup race, but having raced in her formative years here in North America, she'll know the track at least, if not the camera in the face and all the other razzmatazz that goes with the World Cup.
It is really hard not to be distracted by that, because in sliding sports, most of these athletes that are coming off of the smaller, the America's Cup or Europa Cup or IC, they're not used to that attention. It's silent at the start.
Yeah, there's a crowd, there's cameras, there's lights, there's pressure. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. A much tidier looking run from Maddie Charney, looking much more relaxed on the sled.
A lot of this first World Cup is about working out the kinks, especially since we have such a big portion of rookies in the field.
4,500 up, 1:12.9, nearly 5 kilometers an hour quicker than Novikova of Russia. This is Maddie Charney aiming up the field. Novikova's time in the leader's box is over, but she already knows how to play to the cameras, and that's what we like from our athletes. Well, she improves noticeably there. Maddie Charney takes 3/10 and change out of her first run. That's a good run.
Taking a bit of a peek as she comes out of 14. A lot of times that's actually the pressure release if the athlete was fighting the G-force of the turn a little bit early on to turn 17.
There's the big smile from the rookie. Madison Charney of Canada is our race leader. Another rookie now. This is the third in a row. Yulia Kanakina. Yulia, another real light and slight athlete. And the great thing about this, you know, you look at basketball, you got one body type. You look at pro football, you got one body type. In skeleton, anything from 5'2" to 6'2" works. Anything from, you know, 70 pounds to 170 kilos pretty much will work. You can make it work.
It's a fascinating range, you're right. If you look at, say, a Noelle Pikus pace or Lizzie Arnold, the bigger girls in the field, you would think that that would help a lot. But then you also have these tiny little bullets of girls that have much better aerodynamics.
Yanakina in the green, that means she's up on time. Total elapsed time for both runs is added together. The lowest amount of time taken for the mile of ice is the 2 miles of ice is the one that wins. 4,400s over Maddie Charney. So she too is having a much better second run, although she seems to be quite friendly with all those walls.
It is wild. You can see her just flopping around.
Gaps coming down. Charney 1:12.9, 1:12 flat. This could come down into single digits. She was 3,500s up. Will she have any of that left at the line? Yes, 2:10. She takes the lead away from Maddie Charney. Yulia Kanakina of Russia, the third of our rookies in the field so far, and she has the lead and a big smile for Yulia.
Standing by.
Really bouncing around on the sled here like a rag doll. I mean, we say you want to be relaxed. It's a great example of being relaxed.
If you can keep your head when all around you, as they say, and she has done a good job with that. Joske Lecomte of the Netherlands, the fourth of our 20 women in this second and deciding heat. The season opener of the Viessmann Women's Skeleton World Cup. Martin Haven and Bree Schaff watching the action trackside here at Lake Placid.
I remember when Joske first started, it was a bit overwhelming for her, just all over the place. She's been working hard to get to know these tracks better, but you're always riding that line. Sliding sports are about just being on the edge of out of control. That's fastest, and she was a bit out of control on the first run.
She's gone green to red. She has lost her first round advantage over Kanakina of Russia, our current leader.
Ooh, a little bit back and forth now, 100th ahead.
If she can hold that speed now. She's a national team of one. She's being coached by Martin Rettel, the Austrian coach.
She's having a much better run than her first run. The question is if she's working too hard to rein it in.
Better speed than Yulia Kanakina, the rookie. Can she hold it at the line? She does. Opens up a quarter-second advantage. There's Kanakina. And Anders Marambel's coach there helping out as well. This is one of the great things about the skeleton world. A lot of the teams are almost individual athletes or just a handful of people, and so there's this kind of warm embrace. Everybody helps out.
One of the cool things about the small nations as we watch her go through, great line here in Shady 2, is that the small nations band together. If you only have a team of 1 or 2, then you end up traveling together with the other groups that don't have the numbers.
Award ceremony for both skeleton races at 5:15 at the Medals Plaza.
Joska LeConte, our race leader. 4 of 20 athletes down in the second heat. Well, with so many rookies in the field, she'd have been looking to try and get a little higher up the order than her 17th place in the first run. Ditto for Eiko Nakayama, 43 years old, the veteran of the field. Got into skeleton in the Nagano Games when she was a journalist watching the Winter Games, and then hearing that skeleton was coming, and with Katsuhiro Koshi as her mentor, she decided that watching wasn't quite enough. She has yet to decide that watching is where she's going again. Good start, 5:72 for her. A little slower than her first heat, but she has a first-round advantage lead.
I had the pleasure of competing along with Eiko when I was a skeleton athlete. Oh, rough double hit out of turn 3 there. That's a very tricky spot. That is going to cost her a lot of time coming down the track. But she's a great example. She's 44 years old. She came back to the sport because it's that addicting. It's such a fun environment, and you get to know everyone. This is all your friends. This is your social group.
And it's a legal high.
It is. The brain chemicals that you make to get into the flow state that it takes to operate at 85 miles an hour, so addicting.
Nakayama is going to drop 3 spots down the order. Joska LeConte of the Netherlands is our leader. Nakayama in second.
57.38, a combined time for second place of 1:54.35.
Second spot for Eiko Nakayama of Japan. She comes to the finish area on, I believe she's on a Bromley Tech sled as well. Richard Bromley at the top of the track, watching all the action and supplying the kit.
So turn 3 is such a hard bank that hit is inevitable coming out, and that's okay because it sets you up for 4. The problem is if you hit too hard, then you're going to see her hit right, which is not good because then the sled is pointed down into turn 4.
The track is now favorably finished.
Joska LeConte is our race leader here as the snow swirls around. Karina Meyer of Austria at the top of the track. Another bright, smiley face from a World Cup rookie. 15th place after the first of our 2 heats.
And that's a great way to embrace your World Cup debut because you know what? You're having the time of your life. What an incredible opportunity. And taking the time to really enjoy it, that's where it's at. Oh no, hit the take on into 4. You need height in 4, but if you hit the take on, it puts you in late, and that's going to mess up the rhythm of the Devil's Highway.
Joska LeConte of the Netherlands, the leader. Meyer still with a slender advantage. She was 2400ths up from the first heat. She's got a 10th.
Really beautiful line through Shady there.
She's wild, but she's fast, and she's building the advantage. Can she seal it through the chicane? That's not a bad run.
That's gonna do it. That was a great chicane, all things considered.
Meyer of Austria to take the lead away from Joska LeConte of the Netherlands, and she does, and that's a big step up. 56.84, that's an improvement of a 1/10 of a second and change over her first heat. That's what every athlete's looking for, correct some of the errors, because an error-free run is all but impossible in the skeleton.
But that's the beauty, that's what keeps everyone coming back, is that constant search for the perfect run.
into the middle of the pack.
Coming out of turn 3, when you try and avoid that hit, then you're going to break into a skid. She would have been much better off if she just accepted it and let it set her up for 4.
You've just got to tell the brain that it's not going to hurt when the brain knows it is. Drive the wall. Joska offers her congratulations. Karina Meyer leads for Austria. Austrian coach Mickey Grunberger overseeing Takako Umakai of Japan. Another Bromley Tech sled. Kristen Bromley, Shelley Rudman watching from home in the UK. Richard Bromley servicing the sleds and the athletes here.
Does riding a Bromley set come with text-to-athlete coaching during a World Cup?
It does.
That's great.
Captain Birdseye will tell you where you're going right and where you're going wrong and offer all the advice you need. It's a full service. Good start for her. Oh, no. Heavy hit.
At those slower speeds, you are going to find it's easier to correct by sticking a limb out. You saw her legs coming left and right. That's her trying to right the sled, make sure that she's going straight.
Her lead from 3100s at the start, 3300s.
She's having really clean lines here, losing a little bit of time. 2700s ahead here. That slight skid there is going to hurt her, though.
1:12.6 is not the fastest we've seen. But she's got enough in hand to take the lead from Karina Meyer. There is the Austrian, and the Japanese girl goes in front by a 1/10 of a second. Again, 56.91, just a whisker quicker than her first heat.
Up next, Laura and Lynette.
Well, the gaps in this area of the field, the mid-ground between the bottom of the top 20 and kind of 6th position are so tight, so easy to move up and down. And you can see the hit there hurt the elbow.
It's a great shot of the Japanese suits. I am just taken with these. They're beautiful this year.
Great opportunity to see them in slow-mo as they whistle by on the track. All you do is hear them go by. Her right elbow will be carrying the bruises of a hit that she knew she had to take for the pace. Svetlana Vasilyeva of Russia, 13th after the first heat, and the top 10 is just 2/10 away from her. Let's see if she can pull off a big second run.
It's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Russia in the coming years because of the amount of funding they received hosting an Olympics last year. I mean, that's a country that may not lose that funding. It's going to keep getting funneled in there. And these athletes, these B-team Russian athletes that we're talking about, they're going to be around for a while.
Well, they're A-grade athletes, won a whole host of medals, and that normally kicks in the funding. So, yeah, you're right. Vasilyeva, 700s up at the moment, but her lead is shrinking almost to nothing.
That was a great line coming through 12. She is dead even.
Slower than Umakai of Japan.
We're going to see her lose time here. Oh, still in the green.
Still even, and at the line, 600 of a second in front. Well, that was 4/10 of a second slower than Svetlana's first run. She should have been accelerating away from the Japanese. In the end, she only just clawed her way in front.
Barely found a shorter line through 19 there. If you do 19 right, you can sneak ahead of someone. Dropping into that negative pressure coming out of 14. That hit on the right is not bad. Hit left as long as you stay parallel. But her speed, 112.4, just not there.
The track is
race
now
leader
Svetlana
Vasilyeva. Easy for me to say. I'll borrow somebody else's teeth next time. Next up for Team Great Britain, Laura Diaz made her World Cup debut in the first heat, so this is her first ever race weekend in the big leagues. Let's see if she can undo some of the nerves, perhaps, that slipped her out of the top 12, out of the top 10.
5:30 start. That's a blazing start. What a promising athlete in this British contingency. These guys, they produce such phenomenal skeleton athletes.
Only Marina Giardoni, who is the fastest starter in the business, was quicker than Laura at the start last time.
She's had a very clean run with run number 2.
Really looking good. High line through Shady, catches a little pressure on the end. As long as she can get over onto 12. That was a great line. Good. That is really impressive for someone that hasn't had a lot of time here.
Well, this is all the mental game, isn't it? This is where relaxation and thinking your way down the course is going to pay off. She's got a big advantage and she's extending it to the line, and that could see her jump several positions. 56.59, her first heat 56.57, 2 runs down a mile of ice within 200ths of a second of each other. That's the consistency you need to perform well.
High line through Shady. What that does, if you time it just right, you'll feel the sled actually accelerate out of the turn. It's just a bit more of a gamble as she catches some pressure on the end and drops a runner.
Well, there is your race leader from Team Great Britain on one of the Blackrock sleds that have won Olympic gold the last 2 times. Now next up, Lynette Prediger. 21st start place meant that she was always having to fight her way into the field, and down towards the final couple of corners she was 18th, 19th, bam, out of the heart, 13th place.
And this is a tough track to do that on. It seems like you'd have a long time to work your way back, but the problem is it's just turn after turn after turn, so the start does play an important role here.
Next sled, that'll be the first
5.78, couple of hundreds quicker than her first start. When I said 13th, of course, I meant 11th place.
Great line out of 3, looking like a pro. You can tell that the Canadians have had a lot more time here than other foreign teams. Ooh, she is really far back still. We'll see. There might be enough track for her to bring it.
Well, she's come from 6/10 to 4/10 adrift.
Okay.
2/10, here we go. This is where she found speed at the bottom. Fastest through the chicane by 3 kilometers an hour.
Oh no, that hit into 18 is going to cost her, but she is in the green.
She's in the green ahead of Laura Diaz and has the lead by 400ths of a second. Between them in the first heat, 400ths of a second. Her first round advantage keeps her alive. She sets exactly to the 100th, the same downtime as Laura Diaz.
That was Lynette moving.
When you see a sled fly up like that, that's your indicator that she went in late. You hit the G-force all at once and it grabs the sled and yanks you up to the top. And in a skeleton sled, you don't have that precise steering of luge, so you just roll with it, gets pressure on the end, nails that entrance to 18.
Big smile from our race leader with 10 to go here in Lake Placid. Lynette Prediger, the rookie, ahead of rookie Laura Diaz. 10 to go in our hunt for gold.
It's a 2-minute warning to Savannah. 2 minutes. So we are just about to begin our top 10 athletes from run number 1. We will have Savannah, Annie, Anya, Sophia, Marina, Rose, Tina, Janine, Elizabeth, and Elizabeth. The men's race begins once again at 3:49.
Just watching the athletes getting ready at the top of the track for our final 10 slides. Savannah Graybill and Annie O'Shea of the USA yet to come for the home nation. We've got 3 German athletes and 2 more Brits. And the big story in the first heat is the battle of the Elizabeths. Lizzie Arnold, the Olympic champion, is the race leader, but rookie Elizabeth Vache, in her first ever slide in the World Cup, has set a blistering time and is only just behind Lizzie Arnold. And that's kind of how Lizzie Arnold burst upon the scene 2 years ago. Lizzie who, oh look, she's in the medals, she's won a race. And we might just see the same from Elizabeth Vache. Lizzie Arnold keeping herself limber and warm. She'll be down the ice in just under 30 minutes from now. Getting ready for the second half of our run here to decide the medals in Lake Placid. Whatever else, we're in for a barnstorming finale.
Start 1 for Savannah.
Final 10 athletes, round 1 of the Viessmann FIBT Women's Skeleton World Cup. Martin Haven, and alongside me is Bree Schaff watching Savannah Graybill of the USA, the track record holder here, set off on her second and deciding run.
100 faster than her first run. Now we're seeing Savannah relax into World Cup. There's so many nerves coming into your very first World Cup race, but she has the advantage of being on her home track.
And knowing that she is the fastest woman ever to slide a skeleton down here.
We have incredible ice conditions today. They had the Luge World Cup last week. These guys are getting the smoothest, best ice there is. A little bit of the take on to 13. That's not a problem. She's 4900s ahead. We could see Savannah hanging out in the winner's box. 116 kilometers out. Great speed.
Track record is a 55.22. How close is she going to be to that? 55.92. But that is still half a second quicker than her first run. That is a great second slide from Savannah Graybill. If she was nervy and tight in Heat 1, she wasn't in Heat 2.
All the way down the track. She moved into first place by 0.7 of a second.
Did she ever work those nerves out? That was a great second heat.
For the women's competition, the top 10 in the world.
Much more confident, much stronger at the start on this heat. This is where an experienced slider knows to just relax and go with what they know.
Well, there is your race leader. Started 5.69, only 19th fastest in the field, but that's a great drive. Teammate Annie O'Shea now, what can she produce? She's the veteran in the US squad. 9th place after the first heat. And if she picks up a 10th, that'll put her in the top 6.
Now, Savannah had a great run. We could see her in the winner's box for a while. However, Annie knows this track. This is her home track as well. 5:46 start. She's going to be looking to jump some spots as well after a flustered first heat, putting her bib on at the last minute.
2300s faster in the start alone than Savannah Graybill. Gives her a big advantage in terms of velocity at the top of the track.
Cheering squad is out there in group 10 waiting for her.
Coming in a little bit late, 600s ahead, losing that lead already.
3/10 of a lead has gone to nothing. She's behind. That's how good Graybill's slide was.
She's gonna nail the chicane here, but she lost all that coming out of 3. There is no room for error, making mistakes at the top of the track in Lake Placid.
Slower by 1 mile an hour. She may not drop more than 1 spot. She's in second behind Savannah Graybill. And there's the mixed emotions of an athlete. Thrilled to be going up, disappointed for her teammate.
Annie's down time of 56.38 on the home track. Her combined time 1:52.81 puts her currently into second place.
Well, she went to the top for the first heat without her bib on. It was nearly a major disaster. I thought we'd see a big improvement from Annie O'Shea in the second heat, but it didn't come to much.
So she comes out, she takes a really big hit coming out of 3. That hit is normal, but the problem is her head is up. She's not the relaxed Annie that we've seen on the podium in the past. And sometimes when you feel like, this is my year, this is my chance, it tightens you up.
The track is now clear from the finish to start number 1. Start 1
8th after heat 1, Anja Huber-Selbach, 2008 world champion in women's skeleton. And for a number of years, she was the benchmark in terms of sliding and starting speed. But she has been caught. You've got to say, she's been passed. The question is, can Anja find that form again?
Anja is one of the most athletic luge athletes to transfer over to skeleton in that German program. And did she ever have the starts back in the day? But here, after an Olympic year, she's just taking another year to enjoy the sport.
Well, she's giving away a little less than 1/10 of a second in the start, but when you can win or lose a race by a couple hundredths, it's still a big disadvantage, and it multiplies all the way down the track.
Right, we typically say that whatever deficit you have at the start multiplies by 3 at the bottom, and she's already back.
Savannah Graybill's run wasn't just at the bottom of the track, it was at the top of the track. She's gone from 2,800s up, 2,700s back.
And this is not a bad run that we're seeing out of Anja.
Wow. 2008 world champion, she's an Olympic medalist. Savannah Graybill, the rookie, is kicking her into touch. Graybill leads here with 7 to go in Lake Placid.
Time at 1:52.98 for Anja. 1:52.98. Again, show her some love.
Wow, pretty sharp. Anja Huber there with getting on for a 1/3 of a second advantage, comes in 6/10 behind. She lost nearly a full second to Savannah Graybill, the rookie.
She did, and we're not seeing a bad run. Anja is known for having great form. Coming from luge, of course, she's relaxed on the sled, but that skid there hurt her.
Track is now clear from the finish to start number 1. Start 1 for Sophia Graybill.
Sophia Griebel of Germany, 7th after the first of our 2 heats, and getting ready to try and vault a couple positions and maybe threaten for a medal.
Sophia on her sled with the start time of
5:48, that's a decent, pretty average start here for Lake Placid. Now the question is going to be, is she going to be able to maintain her position? Oh, that's going to hurt. We might see Savannah Graybill pop up another spot.
Wow, she's gone from 36 to 3,900s up, but does that momentum ebb away down through Benham's Bend and towards the chicane? She's still in front, but the gap is halved, and that means she's not got speed on board.
No, she doesn't. And we're just seeing some slight Tokyo drifts here and already dead even. Then with this tendency, she is going to stay back. Savannah Graybill is going to pop up another spot in her first World Cup.
1.5 kilometers an hour slower through the chicane. Sophia Graybill. Graybill is climbing the order. 2,100s back. Savannah Graybill may be riding this wave all the way towards the medals.
Those 2 taps set her back. A 56.28 down time.
So Sophia Graybill stumbles into 2nd place. It's Graybill, Graybill, and O'Shea.
6 sleds from running. Tough break for the Germans.
Running a little bit late into 17. Their head is buried. But now check out that form. Toes pointed, feet together. Form is huge in aerodynamic sports.
A lot of high five and fist pumps going on. Top 6 women then in this first World Cup women's skeleton race. From Switzerland, ex-bobsled break athlete Marina Giardoni. She's a world championship medal winner in bobsleigh as a break woman. And she's going to try and produce the same in women's skeleton in Winterberg in February, March.
Marina crushed the start on her first run, 5:27, just 100 slower. She surprised us all last year with a great finish here. Now, I know she would have been hoping for better on the first run. She's someone who could stay ahead of Savannah and jump some spots in this heat.
Well, she outstarts our race leader, Lizzie Arnold, by 2/10. But it's not all about speed at the start. It's carrying it down that counts.
Minimizing the damage that turns that only serve to slow you down can do. She's having a much better run than her first.
Still half a second up on race leader Savannah Grable.
Oh, she's losing it. Oh no, that's not going to help.
Too slow, she's lost speed as well. Giardoni may fall behind. A big margin can go away. It has gone away. Grable gets a top 6 finish guaranteed as Giardoni slips behind Grable and Griebel, who sound like a firm of accountants. Grable and Griebel first and second. Giardoni in 3rd place. And a top 6 finish for her has gone away.
They say a lot that your sophomore season is the toughest, and for Marina, you know she came in here after a great finish last year, wanting to crush this World Cup season, but when you hit the wall like that, lose all your time.
Crushing something. Savannah Grable of the USA leads. 5 sleds to go here in Lake Placid. Do not go away. Top of the hill is Rose McGrandle of Great Britain. 7th fastest at the start, 5th in the first heat. Her teammate Lizzie Arnold leads the race. Can Rose McGrandle get in amongst the medals too?
.547 start, and just touching a toe to stay off that right wall coming out of turn 1. Great entry into 3.
Everyone takes that hit, you know it's coming. It's just how much it affects you further down that counts. Still half a second up on Savannah Grable.
And shooting up to the lip. In the second part is Shady there, but coming out, reasonable exit.
If you get the height, you've got to use it and drive on down. She's gone from half a second up to a 10th in front. 1:15 is good speed, but Grable 1:16 clicks. I think McGrandle's going behind. It's going to be a very close call. Grable has the lead.
Top 5.
Ride that wild Bronco and ride that success up into the top 5, Savannah Grable. Rose McGrandle in 2nd place for Team Great Britain with 4 to go. But now, who knows?
So that is a tough blind spot coming out of Benham's Bend, and she just tagged that wall. Did a great job correcting it, though.
Rose McGrandle lies in 2nd place with 4 to go. Germany, Austria, Canada and Great Britain remain. Tina Hermann, the German rookie, in 4th place after the first heat. Only 15th fastest start, and that tells you how good her drive is.
I love that. I love that silent pause there, that respect that everyone gives the athlete as they collect themselves.
Yeah, the sled crackle on the ice and then the explosion of speed. So Tina Hermann, 4/10 up on Savannah Grable.
Now, if this lead gets down to 20/100ths by Shady, Grable might catch her.
Grable's bottom half of this Lake Placid track was truly astonishing. She's lost a 10th.
Ooh, high on the end of 12, losing pressure there.
And when you land, you take a huge skip.
This chicane is going to determine.
Too slow. She's going to go behind as well. You need 3/10 there if you're going to hit to stay in front of Savannah Grable. It'll be close, but Grable surely is going to lead here. Oh, she somehow finds it. Now, look at this. A girl who would have been thrilled this morning if you'd said you're going to get a top 10 on her debut is heartbroken that she's not going to get a top 4 result. guaranteed she might yet.
Right, how quickly we get greedy as athletes.
And not just when there are cookies on the table.
No.
Look at her smile too, and why not?
Great form as she's taken the high line through Shady there, and really impressive that she holds her head that low. When the pressure releases, often you see an athlete's head pop up because they were fighting it so hard.
Big smile from Tina Hermann. 3 to go. This is the European champion, Janine Flock of Austria. A standout season last year for her. And can she start the 14-15 cycle with a medal?
Janine might be young, but she is not inexperienced. She's one of the few athletes that did start skeleton at a very young age.
2/10 first heat advantage over Tina Hermann. She's already opened up another 2 with her electrifying start.
She's having beautiful, oh no! That was a big skid at the top of the track. Oh, that great start. She's gonna lose her velocity now.
Now, the secret is not to let it get to her. It's done. It's left behind with the speed. She's still got 4/10 in hand. This is Janine Flock driving to a medal.
She's 3,400s ahead still, but look at how relaxed she is. Oh,
good
another
speed.
skid, big, but good speed.
She will take a medal. This is to put her onto the podium. Race 1 of the season, Janine Flock, and a huge lead over Tina Hermann. And there is Martin Rettel. Yes, whatever the Austrian, but get in there. That was it.
And exit stage left.
He's running down to get a trip to the bottom of the hill to catch up with Janine Flock. No wonder she is happy with that. Everyone makes mistakes, just don't let them haunt you.
No, and Janine was someone that really was looking to come out at the Olympics. But this is such incredible form. Look at how composed she is. She's gonna take a hit and break into a skid a little bit here, but she corrects it, she relaxes into it.
She doesn't panic, she just rides it out. Great form in the high-speed turns, and that's what starting Eagles Austria gives you. Form is everything there. She's got it, and she's got the leader's smile. Now the battle of Elizabeth at the top of the hill, coached by Richard Bromley. Richard was telling me that Elizabeth Farche was very nervy before the start. She was the very first woman on ice this morning, and she's now battling to win her first ever World Cup race on her debut.
I mean, you already have so many nerves coming into your very first World Cup, and to be the person leading it off, you have no idea what the pace is. Wow, is that a lot to handle.
Third fastest starter in the field, led only by the Olympic champion after Heat 1. She's in front of Janine Flock and holding her lead.
But this is really what I was hoping to see. We wanted to see someone come out here out of nowhere and make a statement at the beginning of the Olympic quad.
1900s, slower than Flock by a kilometre an hour. This could be very close at the bottom. Sure, she's going to be in the medals. Couple 100 meters of ice to decide it. She's at the line and she's in the lead. She will guarantee herself at least a silver medal.
Incredible.
And for a Canadian program that was cut off at the knees after Sochi, boy, is there any better answer than that.
This is huge for the Canadian program. They had a heartbreaking Olympics.
That is fantastic.
Now, feet together, toes pointed. You can see she's so confident. Yes, she hits the take on to 18, but she had so much speed that was not going to hurt her at that point. Welcome to World Cup, Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Love you.
She is going to ride this one as long as she can. Lizzie Arnold may be the one to burst her bubble, but she won't be bursting it much. Lizzie thinking her way down the track. Coach Eric Benotas holds the Blackrock sled for the Olympic champion to start this 4-year cycle, as she ended the last by being the best on the planet.
5:50 start, a little bit slower than her first.
Head head-to-head competition coming down.
Lizzie, of course, had the incredible offseason you would expect after being Olympic champion, but she is such a competitor that there was no way she was going to come into a year that most people take off and not get after it.
1800s ahead at the start, 1500s ahead now. Opens the lead a little, 2200s.
Now, Martin, this is where she starts to fly. This is where you see that momentum, that velocity, and her uncanny ability to relax and lace a chicane. Wow.
Kills them all with the speed, with the fluid drive, and leaves them trailing in her wake. She won every heat in the Olympic Games, and she runs away to take victory here. Elizabeth Vache, though, from Canada, in her first ever World Cup race, takes the silver medal behind only the Olympic champion. But Lizzie Arnold, for all the wild and momentous events of her summer, is back and just as she was before, on top of the world.
Stick around, cheer on our athletes.
The Olympic champion wins again back home in Kent. Dad Clive, Mum Judith and the rest of the family, I'm sure will be watching with just as much delight as they watched her all season last year and the year before, leading the field.
Oh, well done. Sorry.
Thank you, receiving congratulations from her teammates and from her rivals.
There can be such a thing, we know, as the Olympic hangover. When you have such a high, especially when you come home with that runaway win, it would be easy to lose momentum in the first year of a quad, but she is back and as true to form as ever.
Elizabeth Arnold, Elizabeth Vache, and Janine Flock, who may have to change her name to Elizabeth if she's continuing to end up on the podium. That is your top three here. The first World Cup of the FIBT women's skeleton season. And Lizzie Arnold, the Olympic champion, the World Cup points winner last year, starts the season with victory. Lizzie Arnold broke all records last year, winning more races in a season than anyone has ever done before. And she looks intent on trying for the complete sweep in 2014-15. She wins by 77 hundredths over Elizabeth Vache, underlined that in her first ever World Cup race. Janine Flock, the European champion, on the podium in third, and Savannah Graybill, the rookie, fifth place finish in her first ever World Cup race. The top American, stunning performance. That's the rest of the top 20 here after the first World Cup race of the season in Lake Placid. Well, that was pretty breathless stuff. You look to your Olympic champion, and she's the only Olympic champion here in Lake Placid this weekend to be the favourite. And Lizzie didn't disappoint, but boy, it was no walkover.
No, she had, it was a subtle warm-up getting back into it first heat, and then just took it away second heat and said, you know what? I've got a club, and I'm the only one in it.
Well, Lizzie Arnold came onto the scene with a big bang 2 years ago, and Elizabeth Vache has served notice of her appearance in the World Championship, in the World Cup as well, with a silver medal outing here in Lake Placid. Yes, she knows the track. Yes, she has, you know, a little bit of nerves, but a bit of familiarity. But that's the Olympic champion that she was hounding. Come
that
on.
She was standing there, watch come down right after her. I mean, what an incredible first World Cup experience. That's what I was hoping to come out and see today, especially when you've got a field made up of a lot of inexperience. It's so fun to see someone pop up in there out of nowhere.
Excuse me, in the top 10, we had three World Cup rookies. That's just really, really impressive. And you've got to say, for Savannah Graybill of the USA, 5th position on her debut as well.
What a big day for her.
Mighty impressive stuff. And a long time in the leaders box, enjoying it as well, you know.
Hashtag soak it in.
Yeah, absolutely. 10th after the first heat and rose to 5th position, really enjoying the moment in the sunshine. And of course, for her and for Elizabeth Vache, next week, they're in Calgary. So the experienced athletes will have really no major advantage over them there either.
No, going to a home track, that's got to be a great feeling.
Yeah. Well, going to be a good party among the skeleton athletes tonight. Welcome back to Lake Placid after the first Viessmann Women's Skeleton World Cup of the season. And Lizzie Arnold, the Olympic champion, leads the standings from rookie Elizabeth Vache. European champion Janine Flock claimed the third medal here, and she lies in third spot in the World Cup standings. Well, down on the finish stock as the snow flurries start again in Lake Placid. The flowers are going out to our top three. Some familiar faces and one brand new one. And it's hard to tell who's enjoying the moment more. Well, Lizzie Arnold eased into the lead ahead of Elizabeth Vache in the first heat. She led her by 3/10 and more than doubled that advantage in heat 2 to run away 3/4 of a second and more the margin of victory. She might be missing Noelle Piker's pace as much as we are here. Noelle might have run her close, but as it was, Elizabeth Vache of Canada and Janine Flock of Austria are the ones who start the season chasing the benchmark in women's skeleton. Well, let's get down to our finish deck and catch up with our top three. Here's Tim Singer.
So start list.
All right, thanks very much. And third place, Janine, you were coming on last year. Did you spend the summer thinking about how you want to win more World Cup medals?
Yeah, sure. I want to win more medals, but it's a hard work because we have very good sliders here, and yeah, I could repeat it again to be on the podium in Lake Placid, and that's great.
It is great, and you are one of those very good sliders. Okay, second place. Welcome to the World Cup, Elizabeth Vache. Did you think it was going to be this easy?
It wasn't easy at all.
I'm not saying it was easy, but you were impressive.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it was fun.
What went well, and what can we expect next week in Calgary?
Well, I took a couple more hits than I would have liked, but Calgary will be great. It's my home track, and I really love it, so looking forward to it.
Congratulations. And Lizzie Arnold picking up where you left off last year. You are the queen of the World Cup right now. How about today's race? How did it go for you?
I love being here in Lake Placid because it is such a hard track, and being the start of the season I was a bit apprehensive that I wouldn't be quick enough, I wouldn't be able to think quick enough. And we had so many retirements and people away from the sport. You know, it's not the same as before, but these younger kids are so fast. You know, the younger athletes are so good, so I knew I had to bring my best performance today, which I did.
And best she did indeed. So Lizzie Arnold, Elizabeth Vache, and Janine Flock, the medalists here at the opening skeleton World Cup race in Lake Placid.
These young athletes, Lizzie Arnold has had one full World Cup season and 3 individual races the year before that. She's these young athletes. She's part of this scenery. What a season opener, though. Fun and excitement all the way in the Women's Viessmann World Cup. Thanks to Tim Singer, thanks to Bruce Schaff and the whole production crew here at Lake Placid. Thanks to you for joining us. I'm Martin Havenstein. See you next time. Bye for now.
Oh, well done. Sorry. Good one.